Alright, this is the first video updating you on my progress towards my attempt on the Bob Graham round next June. So it's now, I think, 215 days, 30 weeks. I want to say thanks for messages of support and encouragement, and to those who have subscribed to the channel. I'm planning to put out a video each week with weekly stats like mileage, elevation each week. I've got to confess, this last week has been a big fat zero. It's just been an incredibly busy week work-wise for me, so I haven't actually managed any running at all, which isn't great for my general well-being, and particularly not great when I'm preparing towards this rather significant running challenge. The general advice in the lead up to an attempt on the Bob Graham, certainly in the few months before, is to be averaging 50 to 80 kilometers per week and 3,000 meters of elevation per week. That is quite challenging to fit in, particularly the elevation, especially when you live in the west of Adelaide, which is flat as. And so at the moment I'm trying to get out to the hills, which is half an hour away, once a week for a long run. And on a long run I might manage between 1,000 and 1,500 meters of elevation. And this video was taken from a run I did a few weeks ago. In fact, on the day that I filmed my initial video announcing my intention to make an attempt. So today I'm at Brown Hill, which is actually looking rather green today. It's only about 150 meters high, but it's got a pretty decent gradient, about 30%, which is close to some of the Lakeland Vales. So the plan today is to run 7 laps, get a total elevation of about 1,000 meters. This is lap number 5. That's 7 done, 1,000 meters. Not quite sure how I feel about doing that 8 times. Anyway, another notch in the belt. People that named the hills in Adelaide were not very creative, so there's a brown hill, there's a green hill, and there's a black hill. That run was actually more like 1,200 meters of elevation, but as I said at the end of the video, the thought of trying to do that, well, what would that be, 7 times, pretty daunting. And to get up to 3,000 meters per week in training is going to require getting out to the hills twice a week, and so I need to start building that in from the beginning of next year. While I haven't managed any running this week, I have spent a bit of time looking at the Ordnance Survey map of the Bob Graham route, studying that route, trying to visualize it. I mean, just look at all these contours. It is crazy. One thing I realized is, although the big climbs are at the start of each leg, there are a number of smaller climbs within each leg that are pretty similar to Brown Hill, like 150, 250 meters of pretty steep ascent and descent. And so maybe the kind of training up and down something like Brown Hill is actually pretty good preparation. To be successful at the Bob Graham requires more than physical fitness. There are a number of factors to give attention to, and I talk about some of those in this video I made on my Mount Lofty marathon a couple of weeks ago. Climbing up Mount Osmond this morning, and then I'll head on to Mount Lofty, which is the highest point around Adelaide. Up early this morning before 5, practicing running at different times of the day and with minimal amounts of sleep, and actually it's kind of dawn, the sun's not really up, it's pretty grey. This is the coldest part of the day. I mean, it's not especially cold today, but mentally I think this is the time of day that I find it hardest. Just a bit flat. Yeah, at some point I'm going to have to practice running through the night, but I think I'll actually be alright doing that. It's this time, start of the day, I think mentally it's going to be most challenging. People say another thing that really affects your mood is nutrition. Mood is food. Often if you're feeling low, it's because your blood sugar's low. So it's important to be testing out, you know, what food your body can tolerate, what works best for you. So I've got a belt bag full of energy in different forms. I've got my bladders here filled with tailwind energy and electrolyte drink. And also testing out my gear. So got my vest. I've got my rain jacket today. Already had a few showers, and just testing how that performs, both in keeping me dry, but also how much I sweat when I'm wearing it. So far, it's good, and even drying out pretty well between showers. Yeah, it's important to test all the equipment. You don't want to have to drop out because you wore the wrong pair of socks and ended up with a blister, or you didn't put enough lube on your nipples and ended up with really bad chaffing. So, onwards. What I had forgotten, because I don't wear my vest and bladders very often, is when the bladders are half full and the fluid is sloshing around, if you go for a long run of like 4 hours, you end up with mildly bruised ribs. So that was good to be reminded of, and something to remember going forward. But on the attempt itself, I may not need to wear a vest at all, and I talk about that in this video from last week. I'm at the beach today, another morning marathon. No hills, completely flat. Beach is actually covered in dead fish due to the algal bloom. And no vest this morning, just got my drink bottle, Mars bar in my pocket. There are enough drinking fountains along the way and shops where I can pick up energy drinks with electrolytes. Of course, on the Bob Graham, there aren't drinking fountains and shops out on the hills, and the road crossings are relatively far apart, so you've got to carry supplies, and you've got to have one person with you to witness you reaching each of the summits. Most people actually have 2 support runners to help with navigation, which I'm definitely going to need, and to help carry supplies as well. I was put in touch with a guy called Charlie Day, who's a fellow Anglican minister and also a keen fell runner, and Charlie's just been incredibly generous with his time and offered to support my attempt in a number of ways. So big shout out to the Reverend Charlie Day, and looking forward to meeting him in person next June. I really am very grateful to Charlie Day. Just connecting to him has made a massive difference to feeling that this might actually be possible. Those support runners on the Bob Graham are vital, and trying to recruit people when you're on the other side of the world is challenging. So having a local contact who is on side and so generous in his support has been a huge blessing. As I said, you generally have 2 support runners on each leg, and one of those really needs to be someone with local knowledge who can navigate confidently. Some of those support runners might do a couple of legs, but I think most will just do one, so I'm going to need quite a team. I'm also going to need a support crew to be there at the road crossings, and I think my UK family are going to fill that role, which is wonderful, and it'd be really lovely to have them along for the ride. So there you go, you're up to date on my progress. As I said, I'll try and put out a shorter video each week with my weekly stats and whatever else I can think to tell you. If there's anything specific that you'd like to know or questions you'd like answered, then please send a message or put something in the comments. Don't forget that you can donate to the charities I'm raising money for. I'll put the link in the description for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.